So yeah, I want to talk about the event. Like
Okay.
you're responsible for bringing acts like.
The Truth, Lecrae, Mali Music, Lisa McClendon.
So tell us a bit more about yourself, your story. Perhaps also tell us a bit
Oh.
about your testimony, how you came to faith as well.
Okay, cool. All right. You go in there.
Yeah, we're in there.
Okay, so I would say, I grew up in not a Pentecostal church. I grew up in a church I love dearly, especially when you get older. You appreciate the principles that it gave me as a child. I went to a church. It was, I would say, we're seen as Methodist but stroke evangelical, but it was called Wesleyan Holiness, and in a church in Handsworth, and it wasn't charismatic. It wasn't like it wasn't. It was disciplined, man. We turned to church up on time. And so on, and it was good though. It was a vibe. And in terms of me becoming a Christian, I think I was always a kind of like good boy, I would say. So I think I was just almost destined to be a Christian very young. But I remember going to camp.
You sound a bit like a Calvinist there, destined to be a Christian.
Yes, and I'm afraid, if you want to go into Calvinism versus Arminian, I'm ready to go on that. Well, yeah, yes, but I'm saying, but I do believe in incorruptible fruit. But anyway, seed. But I think that for me, looking back, because it's really easy to look forward and be presumptuous. But when you get to my age now, when you look back, you can see God and how He moved you and where He's placed you.
Amen.
So when I talk to my children, when I talk to young people, I'm talking from a perspective of seeing my path and looking back. So when I look back at my path, I see that God just had it for me to be who I am today. And in terms of when I get saved, I was 13 years old, and believe it or not, there was a preacher. We was in front of a bonfire at camp. I never forget this. My godmother's husband, Pastor John, and he just got the fire and he says, "Yo, hell's hotter than this." Simple hellfire talk. I was like, I have to give it up. I have to give it up, man, because I do believe in heaven and hell. You know what I mean? And I had I have amazing parents. They were always helping people, supporting young people, always doing mission, almost like missionaries, but local, within the community. And I didn't get baptized till I was 16, because in Wesleyan, it wasn't really a drive like that. Like, as soon as you get saved, you got to get baptized. It wasn't really like that. So just before I went to college, I got baptized, and then then the path really kicked on for me, and started to touch into music a bit, but music wasn't a place where I loved music from a child.
I was going to get into it. Still sound like you're looking at my questions.
Oh, man, you know what I mean?
But let's get into it. You've been in the music industry for a very long time.
For a very long time.
So tell me about your love for music, how you all started.
My love for music, my love for anything started with football. You know what I mean? And, I love football still to this very day. And I never saw anything but football, being a Christian footballer, being a Christian guy in health, which I am today. But when it came to music was a great space I always say to people, to have amazing Caribbean foods like gazadas, coconut tart, ginger beer, patty. That's all concerts were to me. And ironically, as a young child growing up, and it really showed testament of why we've had a demise, there wasn't attention to me as a young man when it came to music. So when I was infused, the first time I got infused by music was I listened to music. My mum would always buy music, but I didn't look back I didn't see the impact of that until later on. But I went to my cousins, and I always blame my cousin. He wasn't Christian, but he had Sounds of Blackness Optimistic, and he had his Atari ST next to it. And he showed me how it worked with sampling. And from that, I knew the impact of gospel in people. My cousin doesn't go to church, but he had Optimistic. And I knew that gospel music can make an impact outside of the four walls. And on top of that, I saw the computer. Now, I'm a computer guy. We never had the internet when I was 16. We just about had colored screen when I was 16. And I just took it home, Commodore Amiga, got a sampler, got my 2 MB hard drive, and I was sampling everything out there. And I could sample. It's like the computer and music was where it really infused for me. And I just naturally, when it came to technology, picked things up. And I was passionate about utilizing tools to impact people. You know what I'm saying? And the tools were, at the time, drum and bass. And a bit further on, I married my wife, and she was a singer, and we done Don't Wait Drum and Bass mix, and we wanted to be effective for our generation, because church was dry, man. Like choirs, like, you know, don't get me wrong, everybody loves their choir, and they see me, I'm pro choir, you know, I love my choir there, but I feel that at the same time, my friends are going to drum and bass raves, they're going to jungle. It wasn't drum and bass, it was jungle at the time, and it was, and nobody was interested in music in church. There's rap, but we was into rap, but there was no rap in church. It was dated. Just wasn't on it. So it's imperative for me is, okay, if my music is not being produced by Christians, why don't I produce it myself? You know what I'm saying?
So as a producer, basically.
I wouldn't say I did all the producing, because I was like, okay, musician. I just good with working with people. But I was technically an executive producer from a very, very young age.
You mentioned working with people.
Yeah.
How has that been a factor to your success, being able to work well with people?
Listen, I can't take no glory for anything that I've done solo.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but one thing I've learned is that in this industry,
yeah,
you've got to be able to work well with people. So
yeah. But I think that the industry portrays like we don't work with people, and I think that's the biggest rubbish out there. But I feel that if you ever see anybody out there and they come across like, oh yeah, I did this, nobody does anything. Nobody puts on shows. Nobody puts on if all the things you've seen me do, Gospel Link magazine, you see me do GL Live, you see me do, you know, Gospel for You 1, 2, 3, all the compilation albums I've done, all the singles I've been part of, executive producing, every county project that I've been producing, Affinity Xtra that I've been doing. Nothing has been done by Roger alone. None of it. You know what I'm saying? And the list is as long as everything that the people that have helped contribute towards this cause. You know what I'm saying? And I just find that I'm here to serve. You know what I'm saying? I'm here to support them. I'm here for us to be better people. You know what I'm saying? And support us to enjoy what we do to make the gospel just look good.
So gospel music history, UK gospel music history cannot be told without talking about Year 360. So tell me about when you actually had the vision, and then we're going to get into the events.
The vision came when I was 18 years old. I went to, bear in mind, I was
we will say how old you are, but when you're 18.
I was 18 going to 19. I was just turned 19.
Which is just a few years ago.
Yeah, a good few years ago. I'll give it away, 1996. 1996, and in a weird way, because I wasn't really grew up as a very signs and wonders child, I really do believe that God did speak to me when I went to Jamaica. I went to a prayer meeting. I don't really talk about this often, actually, but I went to a prayer meeting, and just a pastor passed by, just saw us. We just walking away, and just went to prayer meeting on a Wednesday at his church. About 10 of us. And he just spoke to me and says, you know, and he said, God will speak to you differently. You know what I mean? And I just remember going back home, and he spoke. Guys, I don't really talk like this after, but yeah, God spoke to me, and he gave me a vision, and it was to do music. Now, I didn't really was into music like that then, and it was weird for me, but not too long after that, when I was playing football, I got offered trials with a professional club, and the desire of being a professional footballer just went away. I knew that my impact was going to be, everything that came to my head was about gospel music. You know what I'm saying? Be the Christian music, if you want to call it, black Christian music. And and I think that moment was where it started for me from a vision perspective, from a perspective of Gospel Link as you see it now. It started off as divine intervention, as like my wife. I would say definitely my wife named that one. But I was influenced by the likes of Go To Records. I see how they were coming up with something fresh and new, Out of Eden and Grits. And I really enjoyed what Kirk was doing in gospel-centric. So I really looked at the label-wise, can we do that from a UK perspective? And that influenced me with divine intervention, doing compilation albums like Gospel for You. If you're in the Midlands, I've worked with I think I tried to work out how many tracks I've been part of, individual tracks, releasing wise. I've got to actually sit down and work this out, but I'm sure it's clocking almost over 200 tracks, gospel tracks. And I was like, yo, like, that sounds crazy. Not because Roger's special, but because, you know,
God,
it's,
you feel like God called
yeah,
you,
you know what I'm saying? It's just like, it's amazing, you know, what has happened when I look back. But yeah, and gospel, I did gospel for yous and so on. I've really got to a stage now where a printer came to me and said, I got an idea. I said, great, let's have a look at it. Jumped on the idea, and the idea was to do a magazine called Gospeling. And then I jumped on it, and was meant to be a Midlands magazine, but we did it that good that it became a UK magazine. And yeah, the rest is history. You know what I'm saying? So for me, Gospeling rose out to that magazine element. Divine Intervention got replaced by Gospeling magazine. Gospeling itself, and then Gospeling turned into Gospeling 360 as the printing element went down and the magazine got quieter because print was less desired. But we did amazing things with that magazine. I don't want to really go too far.
I remember one of the covers was Drain Triumph. That was really cool.
Yeah, that definitely cool, man. The list, yeah, there's some great times doing the Gospeling magazine. But I just feel like the season was over for print. Yeah, and it was going into TV, so I set up GR360 TV, and also I felt like I had to almost come back home. I was doing a lot of stuff working with London acts industry, in churches. We so focus on the delivery of and it's all stemmed from the model of seeing the pastor, and everything's about the pastor, which is great. But at the end of the day, so yeah, to go into a clean toilet, you need a cleaner. For things to work in the church, it's a team. You know what I mean? And I feel that in the gospel scene, the suffering of the UK gospel today is because the fact of the matter that we haven't invested with the people who are not behind the mic or on the stage.
And that's why I love you, because you're one of the great people to work behind the mic. And speaking of which, so this event, GA360, that many people will know, I have a big question. I'm not even being funny, right? So
you talk about GR Live.
Yeah, GR Live. Yeah.
So there's Gospeling the magazine, and there's GR Live, both on the thing. But people sometimes say Gospeling Live. No, it's like it's just GR Live.
Okay.
Live. Yeah,
okay. Cool. So I want to talk about the event. Like you're responsible for bringing acts like
The Truth, Lecrae, Mali Music, Richie Righteous, Lisa McClendon. Also before Gospel GR Live, you know, Sherwin Gardner was involved with. Mr. and Mrs. Taylor, Frosty.
Yeah, I like they're a rap group with Mrs. Taylor.
Yeah. So you remember doing the show with them.
So let me ask you, why? How did you get them to come here? This funny accent. How do you do that? Because for me, if I just texted Lecrae and I said, Lecrae, we got a gig in Luton, you want to come over? But how do you go about that? And did you ever think, why me? Why would anyone listen to me? Oh, by the way, you got The Truth as well, my favorite rapper.
Yeah, The Truth, yes.
Yeah, The Truth. Yeah. So how were these people inclined to listen to you to come here? Not only did you have this Xtra, but you also had UK acts 100%. Supporting them, and which led to them actually working down together further down the road. So how did that all come about? And please don't say God's grace. I want to know.
100%.
Obviously, what was it?
On a realistic thing, we want to take individual glory. There's elements where people negotiated. I remember the first time with The Truth. That's when the first GR Live came, and it was a message on MySpace and the things. But I'm doing with the magazine, would have been interested in being part of a tour that he's looking to do in the UK and stuff. And that's how we got involved. But it all stems from looking in professional and proper. I had to salute to the team at the time, but also what I would advise everybody to do when you do your stuff, when it comes to gospel, do your best. Don't look, I get so tired of people not presenting well. I'm an old man in the game, so I should be with the most poorest design things. I should be, because I'm old school. But at the end of the day, guys, if you don't look good, nobody will come towards you. The Americans saw and they came to me. But it's funny because when I do the shows, you wouldn't know Nick. And I remember doing The Truth, and that was the first the truth, GR Live, and because we only sold a couple hundred tickets before the show, and I've had people in the team were saying, Raj, let's give away tickets because this, that, the other. I was like, no, we do this. You know, our people are coming late, and it was nervous like anything. I'd never forget this, man. You know, I was in the hotel, and it's like something happened when he landed, man. And it's just like the event was literally so. And
wow.
But the thing is, it's creating recipes, and I think when I negotiated with the truth, one key thing, I'm not coming onto the table as a fan, and I feel like too many promoters are fans these days. So my favorite artist was Steve the Levite. Still is. I love the Stephen Levite.
His heart,
yeah, I would bring over Stephen but that's for me. That's not for the audience. The audience wants the truth. The audience wants Lecrae. The audience wanted Mali music. So the key elements of promoting, the key skills that I feel like is not here today, is that people don't do the market research technically. And one thing that I was good, I believe I am good at, is understanding my market, understanding the UK market when it comes to that. And yes, it's by God's grace that they came to me directly. You could say why they come to me. Americans don't mess about. Americans know where to go to, where they look like there's a guy here who can do something, and he can promote about it because they've got their product to sell. They want it to look good. You know what I mean? But frustration is that, you know, with GR Live, I love the stages that we've done. I love the quality that we've done. Sometimes it didn't really work out how we wanted it to do technically. Sometimes it happened like that. But it really frustrates me where I feel like very few events like this are happening now. Why does Roger still have to do Jimmy? GR Live ain't dead, guys. We just haven't followed through in the UK gospel industry because we didn't want to work together. That's one of my key, I don't know if you want to go into regrets, that's one of the key frustrations when it came with GR Live, is that the success, the killed GR Live, I would say. Not killed, it tripped it over. You gotta think about it, bro. You know, there was no hip-hop event, gospel hip-hop event before then that had purely rappers on. With American artists, you always had singers on there. You always had to have a worship team to kick things off. What we did as a team, we said, we're doing a show. And we did it. And over 1,000 people over 2 cities came out to that show, out 1,500 over 2 venues, Birmingham and London. And I was happy to tour it, which I don't think people do that now. They just want to just do London and that's it, to play it safe. But I was happy. I've been to Newport, Manchester, Nottingham, been to City. But I felt like this, the way out pastors and stuff, churches saw their success and saw that the youths wanted rap. And salute to the churches to invest into their youth like that. But also at the same time, the church is just one clan. And that's not what GR Live was about. It's about a community of young Christians. And because we went back to our clans, and the clans tried to grow their clan, you know what I'm saying? We kind of became detrimental. And I think that's another part, the struggle that we have in our community. We can't put on a gospel rap show because our clans haven't come together. And that's the reason why we keep on stuttering. Because if we had built on that success of over 1,000 young people coming out to see Lecrae, you know, this is MySpace / going into Facebook days. This is not yesterday. But if I believe that the artists come today, they're still not beating the numbers.
And what do you think? Let's talk about that.
Sorry if it sounds, apologize if it sounds arrogant,
no.
but it's just from my heart. That's how I feel.
Well, what would you pin that to? Is the infrastructure maybe?
It's infrastructure. It's a lot of egos, and it's not to say we've got bad people, yeah, but everyone's happy to lead. Everybody happy to be the leader of the pack, but nobody's happy to serve.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's a word. That is a word. Yeah.
And what I realized is that when I was doing the magazines, people know what I look like now, and I always blame Facebook. people were shocked when the guy came on the phone and spoke to me. It was like, but you're not from London. I said, no, I'm not from Birmingham. You know what I mean? Yeah. Shocked. What they have to, you know, kind of for me, it was about serving artists coming from America, serving my team, letting people excel in what they're loving. But one thing is that not everybody had the same heart.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a tough one because the perfect or the great guy out there, it's hard in a field where it's about ego. And yes, I'm talking about the gospel scene. You know what I mean? I find many people who's in it for in it. You know what I mean? And you know, one of the guys that was in it, he's not with. Yeah, there's my wife who's who's from day dot doing this from day and there's a colleague James is not with us now, and there's very few people who he died a few years back, and he's a bit younger than me, and he helped me when we got the Gospel Lit magazine, called me up and said, listen, I see the potential, I'm going to jump on board, and we was just there to serve, and we was just there to get the information out there and do what we and yeah, bro, it is tough, and guys may say, oh, Raja, I just try the lack of realness, which has helped me develop my own voice. In the industry, promoters get. I never forget that artists came over from America, not gonna name names, but they never expected me to be who I am. They thought I was gonna be some evil promoter. And when she actually met me, she's like, I'm just a dude that wants to put great shows on. You know what I mean? Great shows and to impact young people. I want my young staff members to be impacted by you. So like, where are you getting this information from? And I feel that, promoters do get promoters and people like myself who are liable for a lot have a bad reputation within the industry. I'm not saying we're all good, but everybody makes mistakes. Things don't happen where it is. And there's also a different perspective to things. You know what I mean? So sometimes I get tarnished with a brush. So certain things need to be not set right in terms of for myself, but I just feel like the environment people just need to be more selfless. You know what I mean? And stop being afraid of each other. I'm just a Birmingham guy. I find I'm just from a Brummie guy. I just want to be the gospel. But people like this, I don't really want to work with you because they're kind of big and this. I'm like, dude, forget the bigness. We're all trying a thing in the UK. We're not there, bro. Yeah, we are nowhere near there. But together, we can time.
It kind of made me think about, even when Jesus was on earth, he said the greatest among us should be like a servant.
It's got to be like that.
But do you feel like people are not really picking up on the fact that we got to be servant-hearted? Basically, we don't trust what Jesus said, that we have to serve others.
It's not even trusting what Jesus said. It's what environment you are in when you've been spiritually fed. At the end of the day, still, yeah. If you fed junk food, you have a certain body type. If you eat healthy, you have a certain body type. And so I can't blame people for who they are. You are what you eat. You know what I'm saying? And the question is what do you eat spiritually? You know what I'm saying? Where do you eat? Who do you eat from? If you go to McDonald's every week and it's great and it tastes fire, you're having a double quarter pound of cheese with some fries, apple pie, strawberry shake, you don't know. But then that's going to affect you in time. Toxic. And that's why you don't see the length of time of people in it. Because, and it's some, you know what I'm saying?
Are you talking about, so you're using that metaphor to describe churches?
Churches? No, I'm talking about, in terms of, sometimes you're not in an environment where you can be at a good church. Let's be real. But you have to make sure that you're good. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said to me today, said, how come you been doing this for so long? Shocked. Why is it a shock that people do things in the gospel for more than 5 years? If you don't get successful, this is and it's what God's called me to do. Yeah. If my calling, it may be a season, or it could be a lifetime. Maybe mine's a lifetime. I get it, But the thing is, everybody seems to have these seasons of 1 or 2. Also, so is it all about that? soul searching. There's a lot of talking realness that we need, and that's really helped me lead me towards going towards doing what I do with Affinity Xtra. You know what I mean? I want the transparency when we do the gospel. I want the transparency of life, of marriage, of suffering under abuse, mental health. You know what I mean? Physical health. I want the realness of life, the full gospel. Because just talking to me about, oh, you can slap up demons. Tell me, bro. It works. Like I said, I love the key reason why I like Steve the Levite was at the time I'm a mature Christian. As a mature Christian, what I love from Lamp Mode, they had mature Christian content.
Yeah.
So when Shailene, he's just released that.
Song?
Yeah.
Bro. He's deep. He's very deep. Yeah,
so we're having big men deliver big men. Now I understand that maybe Lecrae might not be called for that, so you got to respect what he's doing.
Yeah,
but sometimes we need to chop up and eat big man things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like for me, it is what. Roger, why are you talking? Is it? But this is the importance of how I, you know, and you know.
So go. While you were talking, you've kind of made me think about. Obviously, you have been doing events with artists from back in the day.
Yeah.
What do you think about the scene now, honestly, with the young guns? And what would be your advice? What's a good thing you see about the new kids on the block?
Yeah.
And what would you advise the new kids on the block?
Well, I think of the new kids on the block, I think they're really. I see the same vigor, the passion in them, but also I see the naivety in them as well. The naivety, I think, in the gospel scene, we have a bad behavior, not because the kids are bad. Yeah, this is called bad business behavior. Now, if I was going to be a young artist now coming through right now, I would spend time and do some research before I come into this. Guys, before I buy any of these cameras, these equipment behind me, you see the keyboards, all these things, I actually did a search in Amazon or search in this, check YouTube reviews. My question is, and the Bible says, always count the cost before you start stepping up. So what I find is that, have you done your research? You know, and the mentorship is awful. We'll see. Whether it's the young artist's fault or whether it's our community's inner that they're here to bring through the next generation, you know. But that's something which I've seen not only in the gospel side, but also in the secular side when it comes to black music. Our mentorship program has not been there because we've been bad for bringing through the next generation through for peer mentoring. We haven't evolved in that. Hence why the industry seems to be going through the same cycle. You gotta think about it, bro. What really inspired me was New Colours in the 90s. And New Colours was bringing those in the 90s, bro. Like, they've got about 6 of them. Yeah? Now, you know, 90s music videos were hard in the night. You couldn't just turn up and do a music video like now. So people are getting gassed when they're doing 5 music videos. Yo, bro, I've done a music video on my iPhone. And you know what vexes me? Because I still thought that was one of my best videos. I'm going to vex, you know, because, you know, you just get your phone out and, you know, it's an iPhone 7. Oh, my goodness. I can't believe I thought the video was good. You know what I mean? End of the day, we're not doing anything special that hasn't been done before. So my question is, and hence why I did Recount It, is because I wanted to now publicize what has happened in the UK gospel scene from the 60s, even touching the 50s, but it's the 60s and 70s and 80s, and what has led us to. We have been on the table of amazing deals as UK gospel in the late 90s, thousands, but we approached the because why? We don't do no research. People can say, Roger, well, what, you want to work with me? I want to work with you. But what is it about? Get the record deal tomorrow. Or you know what I mean? And that one of the major problems with the young acts is not there. It's just that the time of actually preparation. I remember my wife, we was with the band, and the band now they're touring around the world. Half the band is they're amazing musicians, and we were young, but we rehearsed in a rehearsal studio for 6 months gig. 6 months, bro. You know what I'm saying? And we record and we get there's little things that we did. I'm not saying we're special, but that's what we did. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And I don't see 6 months rehearsals in the performances. We just get, aka me living in League. But anyway,
Too real.
So hopefully that doesn't convict people. But end of the day, so we haven't developed tree. You know what I'm saying? And we have the technology now to be amazing, and we just still not doing it. It's frustrating because we have the knowledge.
So I want to get into.
Go. Sorry, guys.
No, it's all right. No, hey, this is who you are. You like to speak your mind and your heart, and that's what I love about you. We're going to get into the birth of Affinity Xtra.
Okay, cool.
But before that, do you think another issue is when people think about music, like the music industry, and they don't talk about the other roles that are available to them than just being the artist? Because what you do, you're the guy that brought all these artists, but you're working behind the scenes. And is it also an issue, the fact that when people think music, they think the person in front of the mic, they don't think about the people who are working behind the scenes, who are necessary in order for the whole operation to work? Do you think that's another problem, that no one aspires to be, everyone aspires to be Governor B, for example, but no one aspires to be Roger Moore? I mean, I do, but but maybe talk about maybe the necessity of ambition in music beyond just being on stage, because I think that's important.
Yeah, I would say I hear what you're saying. I think it's down to mentorship. I did when I stopped doing GR Lives for a season. I still did. I think I did a few. I did something called Affinity. Before there was Affinity Xtra, there was Affinity, and it's about young people coming together for a common purpose, different backgrounds, different church backgrounds, and the key thing is we'll put on shows where the young people perform, but everybody was part of it. We did a flyer for Affinity. I think it was Affinity 2 or 3, I can't remember, but it's all about the designers. Everybody's involved in terms of producing the tracks that are sang. So we did songs that were written by the young people, and we performed on stage. So people took stage management. So everybody had their roles to play throughout the whole thing, but everybody was part. We had everybody on the flyer almost, you know what I mean? So flyer, but I feel that again, sometimes it goes back to our mentors. You know what I mean? I'll shout out the guys who are in my position, who are older. Have you really, truly mentored preparation? I'm not saying all of them behave good and they're brilliant guys now. Some of them not, but end of the day, still, some of them are, end of the day, still, you sow seeds, it just ends up in different grounds. But the thing is like the industry guys are generally, the guys who are behind the mic like myself, generally, we get crowded out that much that we just don't have nothing to give. We're not supported like artists. Out of every pound, probably only about 10 pence is spent on the industry off stage, if it's lucky. Because when they do have the money, they'll go to secular producers and promote different people outside of the community. So I'm talking about the inside the community professionals. We'd rather go to people outside of the UK black community to get that better shine. It's a bad habit of our community. We're not on with our street, with our shop. We gotta change. Hopefully we will change. You know what I mean? But we can't expect writers to develop to be great writers if we don't invest in them. Artists, let me ask you, how much is your budget spent with platforms? When I do shows, I call every single, from the bloggers who got 5 followers all the way to top guys like Premier Gospel and the Step Forwards these days. I will invite them all to my shows, give them all. So I don't really care what level you're at. I want everybody to have access to these American acts. So my purpose is I go hunting for young bloggers to inspire. Say, come to my show, let me record these things. People go, yeah, right, you really did this? Yes, I did this. When you done over over 75, 80 shows in my time. If not, probably hit over to 100 shows. You get to evolve, you get to develop everything. And you have to kind of like, you know, really open it out to levels. And I feel that we just don't do that enough. We do ish, but we don't do enough. Hopefully you don't get too.
hey, that's what we want. But anyway,
loads at Roger Moore. But I'm just being real, guys. Because I think you know, I'm at the age and the stage of my life where if I'm not real now, you know, when will I be real? You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't say I was fake before. But anyone who knows me, I was far from fake. But you know, we need to be real within ourselves. This is truth. This is Christianity. You know what I'm saying? And we gotta speak truth.
So we've talked about how you fell in love with music. We've talked about Gospel Link, GL360.
Yeah.
So we've talked about some of the things that you feel is lacking within the gospel scene. But let's talk about the dream of Affinity Xtra and how it's come to being.
Okay, cool.
And then tell me about that. Yeah.
Ironically, I'm now chair of GMIA, and it was a thing that we had about the UK gospel industry coming together in the GMIA perspective in Birmingham, and a brother, DJ Proclaimer, bumped into me, and in my heart, I needed to get a new idea, and I didn't like radio because I feel like radio is 1985. I feel like, but you know what I'm saying. But I feel that it has a place it needs to be refit. Yeah, social media is the key. So, but DJ Proclaimer had Soul Kill going on, and at the time he said, Roger, I need to talk, and we said, yeah, we need to talk, and we just felt led to, you know, and he felt like, you know, to talk to each other and to see where each other's at, and our hearts were at the same place. We came together, and he kind of moved Soul Cure, and then we created up this entity called Affinity Xtra. Now, and it's about celebrating gospel music of Black origin. What we have to emphasize is that in the UK, blackness is not just a sound, where gospel is a sound in America, is a black sound. In the UK, gospel has a numerous sounds when you're referring to. So, you know, you got Afro, you got Southern African, Eastern African, you've got West African, you know what I'm saying? You know, you've got Caribbean, you got Latino Caribbean, you've got South American black sounds. So you have different expressions of the black sound of gospel music. So we want to reflect in that. Also, at the same time, West, their love for God through our sound as well. Hence, we have amazing white rappers and different things like that, you know. So it's not about black people, it's about the black sound and taking ownership. And reggae scene is amazing. So we've wanted to celebrate gospel. Like, we don't celebrate it enough, you know, we don't talk about it enough. And we took the leap, and we did that. What quickly evolved, again, your heart always reflects through the platforms that you create, is that I was doing a show called The Lift Show. So when I was doing the Lift Show years before that, I was enjoying just going through music, chatting, doing interviews with artists. I developed it. It was never meant to be me in front of the mic and so on, but it ended up with me in front of the mic and just learning how to stream and get all this technology and build up. And I naturally gravitated to do a couple of shows, The Edge and stuff. And I was just going in, you know, I was just like, yo, let's talk about some of the issues that we have. Let's talk about what I've gone through, you know. And one artist came in and he goes, Roger, you're creating a library. You know, I ain't dying full, bro. I'm dying empty. Whatever's gone through, what I've gone through, whatever going through, whatever things people are going through, suicides, and I'm encouraging other presenters, and we got other people doing different things where they're putting that information out there. And what I've found with the George Floyd moment is black got up. Never stood up. Black people stood up, but black Christian around. It was called All Lives Matter. That's what I heard within our community. It's not good enough. We have been abused musically, creatively, in and outside Christian music. It's even worse. and we want to champion our music. And the only way to champion it is not to ask people to do whether we had the support. I knew that it would be a hard take up because the subjects that we're dealing with, we'll go as far as talking about Christianity and being a black Christian because of the whitewashing of Christianity. You know, we want to go there. We want to talk about the different disciplines we mentioned. We laughed about Calvinism and Arminianism. Okay. But the thing is, we got to know our theology. Yeah. We got to know what we're talking about. We don't know what we're standing. We just it's ridiculous. As artistry, we assume so much, and that's what happens. That's why we're losing so many of our young men and young women, is because we're not tooling them up.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. You know what I mean? You know, we weren't tooling them up ready for an era of spiritualism. We've got a spiritualism era. There's so many things like this are more powerful. You know what I mean? So it's important for us to talk. I'm afraid to talk to people who are involved in spiritualism on this show. I'll talk to people that are so far out, so far left or right. Because that grounding, you know what I mean? So form, it plays amazing. DJ Nadlock's Nothing But Love. She keeps it sounding great. I listen to it in the background, you know, in my Xtra device, and it's absolutely sounds amazing. But we talk about the different issues. We talk about sports as well. So, you know, a little passion of mine, but take that aside.
But actually, let's get into that. So, because it seems like your life has gone like full circle. You always had a passion for sport, right?
Okay.
So since this is what we've covered, yeah, you always had a passion for sport. You always have.
Yeah.
But then you felt the tug from the Lord that He wants you in music. But now you're kind of doing, like when I go on your gram, you're all into this fitness and sports stuff. So do you feel like your life has gone full circle now? Like
I was always healthy. I think I was always playing sports in the background. As people would never know because I never really shared. But I got told off for it. So I got told off. I said you should focus on your family, church, family, and come out of sports. I did come back from sports. I was offered semi-pro clubs, but I didn't.
By the way, what position do you play?
I played as, ironically, centre-back, but I could play...
Back, yeah? Cool.
But I did... My younger years, I was striker, centre midfielder. Centre midfielder was my thing, but centre-back... but a lot of people my age now are suffering physically because they never looked after themselves. So we get given a gift, which is our body. It's pure, it's great, it's fantastic. Yes, I grew up with... epilepsy, and so we not have a perfect, but you could say perfect body because of the fall. I get it, but with the little that we've been given with, we have to take care of it. And just because we don't smoke and drink, as Christians, we've abused our bodies. And said when you're in public, don't glutton. Don't be a glutton in public. Don't overeat in public. But yet we go to eat as much as we want places and eat as much as we like, and we. While the people are starving,
drink Coke in the studio,
and stuff. And I feel that we should be the epicenter of health as well.
Do you think that that's something that's underemphasized, physical health, in the body of Christ?
100%, because we assume, and we become like God. I need a heart bypass, heal my heart. He's got, well, boy, you spent 30 years abusing your body. Yeah. You've abused your body. So in a sense,
you're saying that we have a responsibility, not just
to responsibility to 100%. 100%. We come to church for spiritual kicks. But we ain't truly go gym. You feel better. I'll probably not in the grades me. I need to go gym. Big up to Mikey Spice, man. I gotta go gym on Monday. He's been away, so I can't wait to get back in it. But I play my football and I interact with young men all the time through it. And I see Christ hopefully in me because of it. But yeah, it gotta be. Just the health culture is getting there, but it's far from there. Like and all the people that said to me, Roger, I remember the guy who said, "Yo, you gotta give up football." Same guy comes to me, "You look so young." Because I didn't listen to your advice, so it's just looking after yourself.
I just want to go a bit deeper. Do you think there's a theological underpinning, the fact that, our body, the Bible says our bodies are wasting away anyway. We're going to go to heaven. So You know, do you think there could be a theological underpinning that, you know what, at the end of the day, I'm going to heaven. This body is going to go to the dust. I just need to take care about my spiritual health, which is not true. I don't buy to that. But do you think maybe there's a theological underpinning that might not be overtly presented, but maybe because of the under-emphasis of taking care of our bodies, it is just assumed that, you know, because I even think of verses about, there's a verse in the Bible that says, physical fitness is of some value, but spiritual is of greater. So, but because there's an emphasis on the greater value, it's as though it's almost saying, though it's not saying, it's that physical health is of no value. It says some there, but maybe some people implicitly read that as no value rather than some value. Okay. So even Paul, the Apostle Paul, I would argue he's actually for physical health. And in fact, he actually uses quite a lot of like Olympics metaphors to talk about spiritual life, even warfare. So do you think there's a theological thing that needs to be addressed there when we come to the things of the body and the things of the, as well as things of the mind and
I think also, you know, we have manipulated the gospel to suit our needs and our comfortability. So, you know, shout out to the preachers then, but do the preachers look after themselves? You find that preachers that look after themselves will preach about health and well-being, but when you look on the TV, there's not many of pastors that have led a health and well-being lifestyle. You know, they have abused their bodies because they've enjoyed the fruits of their labor, and you know, and they enjoy it a bit too much. So they're not going to preach on it because they're not living it. You know, so I don't want to give them any theological backdoor out of the responsibility they have towards a congregation, not only to physical health but also to financial wealth. Yeah, have you ever wondered why certain leaders have got millions of properties, but the brethren don't know how he got it there? Because he hasn't encouraged financial wealth. It's all about, oh, God will give to you, how he's going to give it to you. You know what I'm saying? So it's if you're saying that, but they haven't, in areas of their specialisms, they haven't told people about how they've been.
They haven't mentored, like you said, lack of mentoring.
Haven't done that. And also, you know, the parable of the talent, you know, I see my body as almost like a talent. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it's what you're going to do with it. You're going to bury it and it die off, or you're going to make sure it multiplies. And, you know, so to be... people in the world recognize they got one life. So the rich men go to gym and they got the gyms in the house and they try to keep fit on earth. You know what I'm saying? You know, but I'm not trying to get out of his place. You know what I mean? I'm fortunate that we're not in a place where we get chased for Christianity. You know what I mean? You're not in a place where we're not getting tortured. You know, I'm just fortunate. You know, so I got to enjoy this blessing and make the most of it. You know, to make the most of it, I got to be able to stand up and go and do what I got to do. And I can just about, I can stand up and jump.
Yeah. So we're about to wrap up. So
okay,
basically, we've talked about your faith walk, your passion for sport, and then God kind of redirected you to music, worked a lot in music, and then now you're trying to get back to the sport and fitness thing. In our last conversation, you talked about how you had to move out of this place, and now you're coming back. So tell us about some of the things that you have reevaluated and what the future looks for Roger Moore. So talk about the season where you were told, look, all this has got to go because there's a few things that we have to do. Also coming here, what do you want to do? Like, for example, are we going to see Geo 360 again? What are your goals for the future? And do also talk about the time when you were away. What kind of things started popping in your mind as well?
Oh, my God. All right, cool. Right, let's try and do this as quick as possible. Like, so 2023, beginning 2023, I'm based at Grows and World Studios right now, and it's really cool space because the Black Voices will give me opportunity in the Black space to express myself, and the majority of the Affinity Xtra's time has been here at the studios, but they had to do some renovations, so I had to be out of here for about 8 months. You know, it should have been a bit shorter, but it just took a bit longer to get the renovations done, but they needed to get done, and it was tough, it was awkward, I needed to have that time, because when you do stuff like this behind the screens and stuff and inside like this, you can be so into COVID mode. It's unreal. So you just don't interact with people. You can just jump on a Zoom and carry on. So I felt like myself, it brought me out to COVID mode, totally. But it was tough because it got me to really I'm working from a laptop and a corner of a table. You know, my wife wasn't well. She just died of a kidney worry at the moment because she's had problems with her kidneys for the past over 5 years now. And but she's turned it around, and in terms of really projecting her journey with people. But my wife had to have a serious operation and dialysis. So there's that side of things, and it really got real tough when I was out here. I'm coming back into the studio now, but also it's good. It's good to shred when you just shred off to get rid of the excess little bits of fat that you got on you. It's good to shred off as a body, but also in terms of myself, spiritually as well, and also focus wise when it comes to GL as well. And I work, especially with the element of what I have now with Affinity Xtra and stuff, with great people, great big people. So it's been helpful because it's been tough mentally as well as spiritually and physically, because he's so used to having a routine. I'm a boring guy. I love routine. So when your routine's down the pan, it's so hard. Yeah. And but what did I find out when I was in there? I found myself a bit. Also, I found that I became, alongside Anu Amadei, chair of GMIA, and I found myself looking at what I need to do more with networking. So you not only can see me with Affinity Xtra, but also with the Gospel Music Alliance, Industry Alliance, GMIA, setting up systems. Because we have bricks in the UK, but we don't have mortar. So the bricks always come tumbling down in the industry. So now it's to create mortar. So we have a UK. There's that from a GMIA perspective, but also from a Affinity Xtra word. We're building ourselves back up, and I believe kicking on. Oh, please forgive us for that doing the maximum shows, but there's sometimes a time in my season, in my life, we have to go to eco mode. So we're on economic mode at the moment, but it's been good. It's been great for, people are rehabilitating life because Affinity Xtra was actually running through the whole of COVID. So we had a set life plan. It was quite not easy, but people was working from us. Everyone's life has changed now. So it's now reorganizing things and that going forward. So nothing's not going to change with Affinity Xtra in terms of, we'll be, I'm maybe back with GR Live. Don't know how, don't know when, don't know why. You know what I'm saying? But GR Live is not dead as much as, so as you know, and then also with GMIA, you can see me stand up and be counted, when it comes to gospel music of black origin in the country. I'm a Brummie. I'm the only person from Birmingham on the board, but Anu is based in Liverpool now, and she's doing amazing things in Liverpool, inspiration, and also my Recounted project, Watch Free Space, because I'm here to as I love documentary filmmaking, and that's what I'll be doing as well. People forget you got so much time for that, and I just love young people, and I'll be continually mentoring the next generation, mentoring young men and young women going forward. They're the future, 100%. So I'm there. We've got a team and artists as well. You might say, "Watch, you never answer my calls. I'll text you, whatever." If you're serious, you will get through to me. I'll get through to somebody who I know. I know I'm hard to get through to, but I just believe this knowledge that I do have and experiences I do have. I don't need to go to that's my God's sparing life 2020.
Amen. Well, Roger, thank you very much. You're a champion for UK gospel music and black
gospel music of black origin.
That's it. So yeah, thank you so much for your time, and thank you for just being the champion of music, even if people don't see your efforts. But my encouragement to you to this on the river is, First Corinthians says that we should forever be abounding in the labor of the Lord, knowing that in the Lord our labor is not in vain. So Amen. People might not see your efforts, but God is gonna give you that job well done. Yeah. It's gonna, when you go to heaven, we're like, well done, good and faithful servant. Servant as well. Like, thank you for talking to the audience here and reminding people that it should be no ego. It's like we're all servants. No matter what part of the field we play, whether it's striker, midfielder, singer, producer, person by the door, we're all here to serve. and to serve God as well. Like we're here to serve King Jesus. Like he's a guy we're picking up.
Yeah, man.
And I think maybe we can't go to era when we forget that. But yeah, thank you very much, bro. Cool. I'm sure more conversations to come. I'm sure you have a lot to say. So,
yeah, man. No, definitely.
How can people follow you, by the way?
Oh my goodness, you just put Roger Moore in Instagram. You'll find me, man. I think that's the coolest spot for me where I'm more in. Send me a message. If I don't always message you back, I will tend to try and get my messages quite well. But and also Affinity Xtra, you want to put some comments on there on my videos out there. There's GR360 TV YouTube channel. Keep eye. We're going to be keeping things moving there. And don't watch your space, yo. If you're a US act, UK acts, you want a GR experience, let's talk about it, man. Let's do it, man.
Roger, thank you very much.
Blessings.